The studio lights burned like the relentless Andalusian sun, and Hannah Sterling's voice sliced through the live feed like a guillotine. This so-called AI revolution from a high school dropout? It's a glorified chatbot dressed up in fairy lights. Adorable but utterly useless. The audience in the Seville broadcast hall gasped, but Hannah didn't flinch, her manicured nails tapping the glass table as if to punctuate the dismissal. Across from her, Lily Reyes, all of 17 and trembling under the glare of 1,000 virtual eyes, felt her world crack open, not with rage but with the cold clarity of a storm about to break. It was supposed to be her moment. Lily had poured every sleepless night into Echo, her AI project. A neural network that didn't just predict crop yields for Spain's drought-stricken olive groves, but whispered empathetic advice to farmers on the edge, drawing from real-time satellite data and anonymized mental health logs. "It's not about profit," she told the producers off-air, her voice steady despite the knot in her stomach. "It's about saving lives in the fields that built this country." But Hannah Sterling, the tech titan whose empire spanned Silicon Valley to the sun-baked hills of Extremadura, saw only a threat. A scrappy kid from a nowhere town challenging the gods of innovation. The host, a slick Madrid import named Javier, leaned in with that predatory smile. "Lily, your rebuttal?" Ms. Sterling's valuation puts Echo at zero. Harsh words from the woman who just acquired half the AI startups in Europe. The camera zoomed on Lily's face, her freckles stark against flushed cheeks, curly hair escaping its ponytail like wild vines. She swallowed, tasting the metallic tang of fear, but her fingers danced over her laptop. "Zero," she echoed, her American-accented Spanish carrying the lilt of her mother's California roots. "Then let me show you infinity." In that instant, the screen behind them flickered to life. Echo's interface bloomed. A holographic olive tree, roots delving into parched soil, branches heavy with simulated fruit. Data streams cascaded, drought patterns from the Guadalquivir basin, farmer testimonials scrolling like prayers. Hannah's smirk faltered as Lily typed a single command. "Echo, simulate Ms. Sterling's latest acquisition, Agriteca's Iberian expansion." The AI hummed, then spoke in a soft, synthesized voice that echoed Hannah's own polished tone, pulled from public speeches. Projection 23% failure rate, due to overlooked microclimates in Huelva. Recommended pivot, integrate community source soil sensors. Human cost if ignored. 1,200 family farms displaced. The audience erupted. Javier's laugh was nervous. "Well, that's pointed." Hannah's green eyes narrowed, her auburn bob unmoving as she leaned forward. "Cute parlor trick. But real power isn't in simulations. It's in execution. Your toy predicts. My companies deliver." Lily met her gaze, unflinching. "And what if your deliveries are poisoning the ground?" Echo doesn't just predict. It listens. The feed cut to commercial amid thunderous applause, but Lily's heart hammered on. She didn't know it yet, but in that glare, something had shifted. Not just the boardroom balance, but the invisible thread between predator and prey. Seville's old quarter pulsed with life as Lily slipped out the studio's back door, the weight of her laptop like an anchor. The air was thick with jasmine and the distant strum of flamenco guitars from Triana's bars. She was a transplant here. Her Mexican-American mom had uprooted them from Fresno after Dad's accident, chasing a grant to study climate-resilient olives at the University of Seville. Lily had grown up bilingual, her days split between dusty groves and coding marathons in her cramped apartment overlooking the Guadalquivir. Echo wasn't born from textbooks. It was forged in the silence of watching her mom cry over failed harvests, neighbors selling off land to faceless core like Sterling innovations. She ducked into a narrow calle, the walls painted with murals of defiant gypsy queens, and pulled out her phone. A text from Mom. "You were brilliant, Mija. Proud doesn't cover it." But Lily's thumbs hovered unsent. What if she's right? What if I'm just a kid playing pretend? The doubt gnawed sharper than Hannah's words. Back in the studio, Hannah paced the green room, her heels clicking like accusations. At 28, she clawed her way from a Stanford dropout to billionaire by 25, her apps revolutionizing everything from ride-sharing to refugee aid algorithms. But Spain? This was her foothold in Europe, a calculated move to launder her image after the California antitrust suit. Mocking a teen? PR gold. Until that damn AI echoed her own flaws back at her. Get me everything on her, Hannah barked into her earpiece, sinking into a leather chair. Her assistant, Marco, hesitated. The girl? Lily Reyes. She's nobody, scholarship kid, no patents yet. Hannah's laugh was bitter. Nobody who just tanked my stock 2% on live TV. But as screens flickered with Lily's sparse socials, selfies in olive fields, code snippets tagged for the roots, Hannah felt an unfamiliar pull. The girl's eyes, brown and unyielding, like polished agate under storm clouds. Not fear but fire. Hannah shook it off, pouring a glass of Rioja. Sentiment was for suckers. She built empires on steel. Days blurred into a fever. Lily's inbox exploded. Interview requests from El País, venture scouts sniffing for equity. She ignored them, holing up in the university's maker lab, tweaking Echo's empathy module. Make it warmer, she murmured to the code, fingers flying. It was late when her phone buzzed, an unknown number. She answered, expecting a reporter. Reyes? Sterling. We need to talk. Lily's breath caught. About what? Your apology script. A pause, then Hannah's voice, smoother than silk over gravel. About acquisition. Name your price. Lily laughed, sharp and disbelieving. Echo's not for sale. Not to you. Click. But Hannah didn't let go. The next morning, a black Mercedes idled outside Lily's building, tinted windows gleaming like a threat. Lily peered out, heart racing, and saw Hannah herself, sunglasses perched on her head, a coffee in hand from the corner churreria. Get in, she called, as if they were old rivals at a cafe. Against every instinct, Lily did. The car smelled of leather and citrus cologne. Why? Lily demanded, clutching her backpack. Hannah glanced sideways, city blurring past. Because you're a liability. And maybe a genius. They drove in silence to the groves outside town, where ancient trees twisted like old lovers, their trunks scarred by centuries. There, under a canopy that filtered sunlight into golden shards, Hannah dropped the facade. I started like you, coding in my parents' garage, dreaming of fixing the world. But the world fixes you back. She kicked a root, voice cracking just a fraction. Lily saw it. The armor, the exhaustion. Then why mock me? To feel big. Hannah's eyes met hers, green on brown, and for a beat the air hummed. To test you. And damn if you didn't pass. Lily stepped closer, the scent of earth rising. This isn't a game, Hannah. These farms are people's homes. Their hands brushed. Accidental, electric. Lily pulled away first, cheeks burning. What do you want? Hannah's smile was rueful. A partnership. Real one. Lily nodded, wary but intrigued. Seeds planted, unspoken. As weeks unfolded, their worlds collided. Meetings in hidden tabernas where paella steamed and sherry flowed. Hannah in linen shirts unbuttoned at the collar. Lily in faded tees splashed with code stains. Echo integrated with Sterling's tech, but Lily insisted on safeguards. Open source elements for smallholders. Sparks flew. Arguments over ethics, late-night demos where Hannah's laugh, rare, genuine, filled the room. Lily found herself tracing the lines of Hannah's face in sketches, wondering at the softness beneath the edge. Hannah, scrolling Lily's feed at 3 a.m. in her penthouse overlooking the Alcazar, felt the thaw. This girl, with her fierce heart and unscarred dreams, was rewriting her code. But shadows loomed. Hannah's board whispered of distractions, while Lily's mom eyed her daughter's glow with suspicion. She's using you, Corazon. Lily brushed it off, but doubt festered. Then came the betrayal's first whisper. A leaked email from Marco, Hannah's assistant, offering Lily a solo buyout. Cut Hannah out, take the payout. Lily stared at her screen, betrayal bitter as unripe olives. Was it all a ploy? She confronted Hannah in the groves at midnight, moon silvering the leaves. Did you mean any of it? Tears stung. Hannah's face crumpled. Every word. But the board. They think you're my weakness. Lily turned away, heart fracturing. Then prove it. Choose. Hannah didn't sleep that night. The Seville skyline mocked her from the balcony. Minarets and spires twisting like accusations under a canopy of stars. She'd built her life on calculated risks. Dropping out of Stanford at 19 to code an app that matched foster kids with mentors, selling it for her first $1 million at 21. By 25, Sterling Innovations was a behemoth, AI threads woven into global fabrics. But Lily? Lily was the glitch, the variable she couldn't optimize. That email, Marco's rogue move, he'd sworn, but the damage was done. Hannah fired him at dawn, but trust, fragile as spun glass, lay in shards. She drove to Lily's apartment unannounced, the Mercedes engine a low growl through pre-dawn streets. Lily answered in pajamas, curls a wild halo, eyes red-rimmed. "Go away, Hannah." But Hannah held up a tablet, Echo's interface glowing. "I rewrote the contract. Full equity for you, 50-50. No boards, no strings." Lily's laugh was hollow. "And what about us? Was that part of the simulation?" Hannah stepped inside, the door clicking shut like a vow. The space was chaos. Books on quantum ethics piled with half-eaten empanadas. A window cracked to let in river breeze. "Us?" Hannah echoed, voice soft. "There is no us in my world. Until you." They talked till sunrise, words tumbling like the Guadalquivir's current. Hannah's childhood in a sterile Palo Alto mansion. Parents more interested in mergers than bedtime stories. Lily's Fresno summers, picking strawberries with Abuela, learning code from free library laptops. Vulnerability bridged them. Hannah admitting the antitrust suit's toll, how it turned allies to vipers. Lily confessing Echo's core algorithm, born from her dad's suicide note, a farmer broken by corporate buyouts. By first light, hands entwined on the worn couch, the air shifted. Not passion, too raw for that, but a quiet recognition like two rivers merging. Publicly, they were fire and ice. A joint presser in Madrid's Gran Via drew hordes. Hannah, poised in emerald silk, echoing her eyes, touting Sterling Reyes' synergy as Europe's green tech beacon. Lily, in a simple shift dress that hugged her lithe frame, demoed Echo's upgrades. Now forecasting not just yields but community resilience scores, flagging burnout in real time. Cameras flashed, questions probed. Is this a merger of minds? Or hearts? Hannah's deflection was smooth. Minds unequivocally. But offstage in the hotel suite's hush, Lily's touch lingered. A brush of fingers, a shared glance that said more than code ever could. Yet conflict brewed like a sirocco. Hannah's past clawed back. Elena, her ex from Stanford days, a venture capitalist with a grudge and a Rolodex of skeletons. Elena surfaced at a Cordoba Tech Summit, all sharp bob and sharper tongue, cornering Lily during cocktails. She's a hurricane kid. Swallows dreamers whole, spits out wreckage. Lily brushed it off, but seeds of unease sprouted. Meanwhile, Lily's world fractured. Two school bullies, once dismissing her as the weirdo coder, now hounded her for selfies. Worse, a rival startup, backed by Elena's firm, poached Echo's beta testers with bribes. It's sabotage. Lily fumed to Hannah over encrypted calls, pacing her balcony as barges ghosted the river. Their first real fight erupted in the groves, wind whipping olive branches like accusations. Hannah had greenlit a pilot without Lily's input, integrating Echo with drone surveillance for efficiency. It's progress, Hannah argued, frustration etching lines around her mouth. Lily's voice rose raw. Progress for who? Your shareholders? This isn't efficiency, it's erasure. Farmers aren't data points. Tears welled unbidden. Hannah reached out, but Lily recoiled. You promised partnership. Or was that just another acquisition? The silence stretched, heavy as thunder. Hannah's whisper broke it. I'm scared, Lily. Of losing control. Of you. Lily softened, stepping into the circle of her arms. Then let go. Under the stars, lips brushed, not claiming but questioning. A spark tender and terrifying. As autumn deepened, their bond wove tighter, a tapestry of stolen moments. Picnics by the Roman bridge where Hannah read poetry. Federico Garcia Lorca's verses on impossible loves, her voice a low melody. Coding sessions in Lily's apartment, legs tangled under the desk, laughter punctuating bugs. Lily taught Hannah to harvest olives, hands sticky with oil, the act grounding them in the earth's pulse. Hannah, in turn, flew Lily to Barcelona for a surprise. A rooftop dinner overlooking Gaudi's whims, where she gifted a custom laptop etched with Echo's heart. For the girl who hacked mine, she murmured. Lily's blush was dawn on the mesa, but romance in its quiet bloom couldn't shield them from the storm. The climax brewed in whispers. Elena's firm unearthed irregularities in Hannah's early patents, stolen code from a forgotten intern, now twisted into fraud claims. The board turned, demanding Hannah cut ties with Lily to clean house. She's toxic, the chairman sneered over video. Hannah's retort was ice. She's the future. But doubt crept. Lily, overhearing a fragment during a visit, felt the old wound reopen. Betrayal round 2. She vanished for days, holing up in a Triana garret with her mom, who brewed manzanilla tea and sage advice. Love isn't code, Mija. It doesn't compile without trust. The world ignited. Headlines screamed from New York to Madrid. Tech titans taboo romance, twisting their story into prurience. Lily's school suspended her for distraction. Hannah's stock plummeted 15%. Investors fleeing like rats. Elena crowed on CNBC. Predictable. Hannah always confuses conquest with connection. Isolated in Hannah's fortified villa on the outskirts, they fortified each other. Nights of whispered dreams, days plotting counterstrikes. Lily upgraded Echo into a shield. An AI whistleblower, exposing Elena's bribes via anonymized trails. Turn the system against itself, Lily said, fingers interlaced with Hannah's. The counteroffensive launched at dawn. Echo's tendrils infiltrating the digital ether like roots through stone. Lily's code was poetry in motion. Blockchain-verified logs of Elena's firm's dirty deals, funneled to investigative journalists via untraceable nodes. By noon, The Guardian splashed corruption in the code. How VCs sabotage Spain's green tech. Elena's empire quaked, her smug interview unraveling into stammered denials. Hannah watched from the villa's terrace, Lily's head on her shoulder, the Guadalquivir a silver thread below. You did it, Hannah breathed, pride swelling like tide. Lily's smile was weary. We did. But at what cost? The backlash was biblical. Protests swelled outside Sterling's Madrid offices. Farmers waving pitchforks, not in anger, but solidarity, signs reading Echo for the earth. Yet the personal toll carved deep. Lily's mom, once wary, now fielded death threats from trolls. Hannah's family, estranged ghosts from California, surfaced with disowning emails. This phase will pass, darling. Focus on the business. Their love, once a private bloom, became public spectacle. Tabloids photoshopping embraces into leers, online forums dissecting their power imbalance with clinical cruelty. Lily, scrolling in the dead of night, felt the weight crush her. Am I just your redemption arc, Hannah? The plucky teen who fixes the broken billionaire. Hannah's response was fierce, pulling Lily to the groves where they'd first tangled. No. You're the mirror I couldn't face. She confessed it all, the therapy sessions post-Elena, the pills she'd flushed to stay sharp, the hollow victories that echoed like empty halls. Lily listened, tears carving paths through dust. I see you, she said simply, and in that olive-scented hush they rebuilt. Boundaries drawn, therapy booked in tandem, Echo's code open-sourced as a gesture of defiance. Romance deepened not in grand gestures but intimacies. Hannah learning Lily's love language through playlists of indie folk, Lily tracing constellations on Hannah's palm during stargazing, naming stars after forgotten algorithms. Yet the true climax crested in a storm-swept boardroom, glass walls rattling under Atlantic gales. Hannah's directors, faces pinched like dried figs, demanded her resignation. The girl's a liability, your relationship, the leaks, it's tanking us. Hannah stood at the head, Lily patched in via hollow feed from the lab, her image flickering like a guardian angel. Then tank, Hannah declared, voice steel. Sterling was never about stock ticks. It was about impact. Echo proves that. Our pilots saved 300 farms last quarter. Lily's vision, my execution. We're indivisible. Murmurs rose. One ally, a grizzled engineer from her garage days, nodded. She's right. Or we're dinosaurs. The vote split, but Hannah's gavel fell. Restructuring announced, board culled. Focus pivoted to ethical AI. Elena's firm crumbled under SEC probes, her empire a cautionary footnote. In the aftermath, Seville exhaled. Lily returned to school, a hero's welcome. Teachers bending rules for her hybrid schedule, peers trading barbs for respect. Hannah, humbled, volunteered at community co-ops, her hands callous from honest labor. Their evenings wove routine. Cooking tortilla española, Hannah's attempts comically charred. Walks along the river, where Lily sketched future modules on napkins. Love tested, emerged refined, Not flawless but resilient, a bridge between worlds. But drama's shadow lingered. A subplot unfurled in whispers. Marco, the fired assistant, hadn't acted alone. Driven by resentment and Elena's cash, he'd planted a backdoor in Echo. A subtle worm siphoning data to rivals. It activated during a critical demo at the Seville Fair. Screens glitching mid-pitch to global buyers. Chaos. Investors bolting, Lily's face ashen on stage. "It's compromised," she gasped into her mic, crowd murmuring. Hannah in the wings felt ice flood her veins. Betrayal's second strike, sharper for its intimacy. They traced it that night, holed up in the Maker lab, rain lashing windows like judgment. Lily's code dove deep, unraveling the threat to Marco's IP. Now fled to Lisbon. "He knew my patterns," Lily said, voice breaking. "Because I trusted you. And you trusted him." Hannah's guilt was a vice. "I'll fix this." But Lily's hurt ran deeper, a chasm of what-ifs. She slept alone that week in her mom's spare room, the rivers murmur a lullaby of loss. Hannah, adrift in the villa, penned letters she burned, apologies too raw for send. The conflict peaked in a midnight call. "I can't breathe without you," Hannah admitted. Lily's silence stretched, then softened. "Then fight for air. With me." Reconciliation came in Extremadura's hills, a road trip to the Badlands where Hannah's first European venture had failed. A ghost farm reclaimed by wildflowers. They camped under vast skies, no screens, just firelight and truths. "I built walls because love scared me more than bankruptcy," Hannah confessed, poking embers. Lily nodded, handing her a smorgasbord imperfect. "And I hid in code because people leave. But you stayed." Stars wheeled above as they leaned in, foreheads touching, the kiss a seal. Slow, affirming, souls aligning. Back in Seville they purged the worm, fortifying Echo with Lily's unbreakable lattice. A metaphor for them. As winter nipped the air, their story rippled outward. Echo spawned co-ops. Women farmers in Jane coding their own modules. Queer youth in Barcelona hacking climate apps. Hannah testified before U panels, Lily at her side. Their clasped hands, a quiet statement. Media shifted, from scandal to saga. Profiles in The New Yorker dubbing them the codebreakers of the heart. Yet normalcy beckoned. Lily's 18th birthday, a low-key affair in Triana, flamenco and flan. Hannah gifting a ring, simple platinum, engraved with intertwined roots. Not a proposal but a promise. Together we outsmart the system. Spring unfurled in Seville like a long-held breath. Azahar blossoms perfuming the air with promises kept. Lily and Hannah's partnership, professional, personal, had weathered the tempests, emerging as a model for ethical tech. Sterling Reyes, now a non-profit hybrid, profits plowed into soil regeneration across Iberia. Echo evolved, its voice multilingual, whispering hope to herders in the Pyrenees and vintners in Rioja. Lily, freshly graduated with honors, deferred Stanford for a gap year in Spain. Her days split between groves and grad seminars. Hannah, at 29, shed the Billionaire's armor for mentorship. Keynotes on vulnerable algorithms. Her slides laced with Lily's doodles. Their romance, no longer fodder for feeds, deepened in the domestic. Lazy Sundays in bed, sheets tangled like code vines, debating Lorca over café con leche. Weekend hikes in the Sierra Morena, where Hannah's city polish gave way to Lily's earthy grace. Intimacy was layered, conversations till dawn on bisexuality's nuances. Hannah's quiet coming out at 22, Lily's fluid awakening through fanfic forums, shared vulnerabilities like Hannah's panic attacks, soothed by Lily's playlists of Nina Simone. No grand eros but a profound eros of souls. Touches that lingered, gazes that anchored. Yet drama's embers glowed. Marco's extradition trial unearthed more. Not just greed, but a web of corporate espionage tying back to Elena's cabal. Subpoenas flew. Hannah's testimony in Lisbon's Stark courthouse was a reckoning, voice steady, recounting the backdoors near catastrophe, eyes locking with Marco's defeated slump. "You were family," she said, not in accusation but sorrow. Lily watched via stream, heart aching for the woman who'd chosen her over empire. Post-verdict, they celebrated quietly. Tapas in a hole in the wall, Hannah's foot hooked round Lily's under the table. "We won," Lily toasted. Hannah's grin was wolfish. "No. We survived." Conflict's final arc crested in personal tempests. Lily's mom, Rosa, confronted them over dinner. Her plate of arroz con pollo cooling untouched. Your world's apart, girls. Hannah, you're a storm, Lily my anchor. What if it breaks her? Rose's eyes, mirrors of Lily's, brimmed with a mother's fierce love. Hannah listened, no defenses raised. I know the risk. But Lily's my compass. Lily squeezed her hand. Mama, it's not despite the differences, it's because she sees me. The talk stretched into night, tears and hugs forging uneasy peace. Rose's blessing came halting. Just promise to choose each other, every day. Echo's global rollout brought acclaim and envy. A jealous exec from a Berlin firm, spurned in acquisition talks, launched a smear. Anonymous posts claiming Lily's youth invalidated her genius. Hannah's influence a grooming narrative. The internet's underbelly roared, misogyny laced with homophobia. Hashtags like tech predator trending. Lily, scrolling in the lab, felt the old fractures reopen. They reduce us to tropes, she vented to Hannah, voice thick. Hannah pulled her close, chin on her crown. Then we rewrite the story. They countered with transparency. A TEDx talk in Barcelona, Lily on stage in jeans and conviction. Hannah in the front row, tears unspoken. Love isn't a glitch, Lily declared to thunderous cheers. It's the upgrade. As summer peaked, the humanistic core emerged. Not in triumph but quiet grace. They volunteered at a migrant camp near Cadiz. Echo adapting for refugee gardeners. Predicting viable plots in alien soil. Amid tense and tentative smiles, Lily taught a Syrian team to code basic forecasts. Hannah, sleeves rolled, hauled compost, her laughter mingling with children's. One evening by a bonfire's glow, a grandmother pressed dates into their palms. You too, you fight for the forgotten. That's holy. Lily's eyes met Hannah's over flames, a nod passing. This was the why. The story's denouement unfolded in autumn's amber light. Back in the groves where it began, Hannah had one last surprise. A deeding a swath of land to a co-op Lily's mom now led. Rosa Reyes, climate agronomist, beaming in overalls. For the roots, Hannah said, echoing their engraving. Lily's laugh was free, pulling her into a spin amid falling leaves. But gravity tugged. Whispers of Hannah's wanderlust, bored remnants urging U.S. expansion. Lily's deferred dreams, Stanford's halls calling. What if distance data corrupts us? Lily murmured one night, tangled in sheets. Hannah's answer was deliberate. Then we build a better network. She proposed. Not on bended knee, but over breakfast, ring glinting in sunlight. Marry me, Lily Reyes. Not to own, but to orbit. Partners in the code. Tears fell as Lily nodded. Yes, a vow etched in eternity. The wedding was Seville simple. Civil hall vows in bilingual cadence. Then a reception in Triana, flamenco stomps, tables groaning with gazpacho and gambas, queer elders toasting with sherry toasts. Rosa danced with Hannah, a tentative truce blooming. Friends from Fresno and Palo Alto bridged oceans with stories. Years later, Echo a global lifeline. Averting famines in Africa, bolstering vines in Tuscany. They'd reflect on that TV debacle as Genesis. Hannah, silver threading her auburn, would tease. I mocked you to meet you. Lily, curls streaked with wisdom's gray, would retort. And I outsmarted you to love you. Their life, a tapestry of dramas weathered, betrayals mended, conflicts alchemized into growth. Ended not in fairy tale gloss, but humanistic depth. Two women, hands clasped across divides, proving that in a world of zeros and ones, the heart's algorithm always computes to more. In the groves under eternal olives they'd sit, daughters of sun and silicon, lovers in the long light, knowing the system was outsmarted, not by cunning alone, but by choosing fiercely to connect.